Hello. This is Dr. Brahmara.
Yeah, Hari Om. Dr.
Hari Om.
Mara, we're starting from Bhajagovindam today?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Okay.
try to, yeah.
You'll be able to share the screen and do the reading part, no?
Yeah. I will. I was trying to share it. It came. I will put it on the thing right now.
Okay. We'll start with the prayer. I'll
prayer.
start with the prayer then. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunasahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashivasamaramabham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankara Vavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dr. Mara, you can unmute yourself and then start. If there's any chanting to do, one of us can help out. You can start from the introduction, I think. Yeah. Please go ahead. You will have to unmute yourself, Dr. Mara.
Automatically, I get muted. Okay. All right. Okay. Introduction. Bhagavad Acharya Shankara was not only great thinker and the noblest of Advaitic philosophers, but he was essentially an inspired champion of Hinduism and one of the most vigorous missionaries in our country. Such a powerful leader was needed at the time when Hinduism had been almost smothered within the enticing entanglements of the Buddhistic philosophy. And consequently, the decadent Hindu society had come to be broken up and disunited into numberless sects and denominations, each championing a different viewpoint and mutually quarreling in endless argumentations. Each Pandit, as it were, had his own followers, his own philosophy, his own interpretation. Each one was a vehement and a powerful opponent of all other views. This intellectual disintegration, especially in the scriptural field, again, this intellectual disintegration, especially in the scriptural field, was never before so serious and so dangerously calamitous as in the times of Sri Shankara. You can hear me, right? Okay. Okay. It was at such a time when our society was fertile for any ideal thought or practical philosophy to thrive, that the beautiful values of non injury, self control, love, and affection of the Buddha came to enchant alike the kings and their subjects of this country. But the general decadence of the age did not spare the Buddhists also. They among themselves precipitated different viewpoints, and by the time Shankara appeared in the horizon of the Hindu history, the atheistic school of Buddhist Asadvadis has enticed away large sections of the Hindu folk. It was into such a chaotic intellectual atmosphere that Shankara brought his life giving philosophy of the non dual Brahman of the Upanishads. Again, it was into such a chaotic intellectual atmosphere that Shankara brought his life giving philosophy of the non dual Brahman of the Upanishads. It can be very well understood what a colossal work it must have been for a single man to undertake in those days, when modern conveniences of mechanical transport, when modern conveniences of mechanical transport and the and instruments of propaganda were unknown. The genius in Shankara did solve the problem, and by the time he had placed at rest his mortal coil, he had whipped the false Buddhistic ideology beyond the shores of our country and had reintegrated the philosophical thoughts in the then Aryavarta. Okay, philosophical thoughts in the then Aryavarta. After centuries of wandering, no doubt richer for her various experiences, but tired and fatigued, Bharat came back to her own native thoughts. So, it's going on. In his missionary work of propagating the great philosophical truths of the Upanishads and of rediscovering through them the true cultural basis of our nation, Acharya Shankara had a variety of efficient weapons in his resourceful armory. He was indeed preeminently the fittest genius who alone could have undertaken this self appointed task as the sole guardian angel of the Rishi culture. So let me go back again this paragraph. In his missionary work of propagating the great philosophical truths of the Upanishads and of rediscovering through them the true cultural basis of our nation, Acharya Shankara had a variety of efficient weapons in his resourceful armory. He was indeed preeminently the fittest genius who alone could have undertaken this self appointed task as the sole guardian angel of the Rishi culture. An exquisite thinker, a brilliant intellect, a personality scintillating with the vision of truth, a heart throbbing with industrious faith, an ardent desire to serve the nation, sweetly emotional and relentlessly logical. In Shankara, the Upanishads discovered the fittest spiritual general. So nicely said. It was indeed a vast program that Shankara had to accomplish within the span of about 20 effective years. For at the age of 32, he had finished his work and had folded up his manifestation among the mortals of the world. Again, it was indeed a vast program that Shankara had to accomplish within the span of about 20 effective years. For at the age of 32, he had finished his work and had folded up his manifestation among the mortals of the world. So that Aztecs, I think that is in those days, meaning 7th or 9th century AD. So it was long ago, 7th/9th century AD. He had brought into his work, he had brought into his work his literary dexterity, both in prose and poetry, and at his hands, under the heat of his fervent ideals. The great Sanskrit language became almost plastic. Mhm. He could mold into any shape and into any form. From vigorous prose, heavily laden with irresistible arguments, to flowering rivulets of tilting, tuneful songs of love and beauty. There is no technique in language that Shankara did not take up, and whatever form he took up, he proved himself to be a master in it. From masculine prose to soft feminine songs, from marching militant verses to dancing songful words, be he in the halls of the Upanishad commentaries or in the temple of the Brahma Sutra expositions or in the amphitheater of his Bhagavad Gita discourses or in the open flowery fields of his devotional songs. His was a pen that danced itself to the rhythm of his heart and to the swing of his thoughts. Oh, nicely written. So, do you want to summarize or anything, or should I go forward? I think this is more self explanatory, right? Anyone want to repeat anything? Let me know, please. Pen alone would not have won the war of culture for our country. Again, pen alone would not have won the war of culture for our country. He showed himself to be a great organizer, a far-sighted diplomat, a courageous hero, and a tireless servant of the country, selfless and unassuming. This mighty angel strode up and down the length and breadth of the country, serving his motherland and teaching his countrymen to live up to the dignity and glory of Bharat. Such a vast program can neither be accomplished by an individual nor sustainedly kept up without institutions of great discipline and perfect organization, establishing the mats, opening up temples, organizing halls of education, and even establishing certain ecclesiastical ecclesiastical legislations. This mighty master left nothing undone in maintaining what he achieved. So coming, this is like introduction nicely given. So Bhajagovindam is one of the seemingly smaller, but in fact extremely important works of Adi Shankara. Here, the fundamentals of Vedanta are taught in simple musical verses, so that even from early childhood, the children of the rishis can grow up amidst the melody of Advaita. The musical rhythm in these stanzas makes it easy even for children to remember and repeat these pregnant verses. For an intelligent young man, a sincere study of this poem can remove all his delusions, moha. And so the poem is also called Mudgara. Moha Mudgara. Oh, Mudgara. A popular story describes the circumstances in which this great poem broke out from the inspiring heart of the teacher. That was at the end, the asterisk denotes at the end of the Dvadasa Manjarika Stotra, we read Dvadasa Manchari ka Brisheha Katito Vyakarana Shishyah Ubadesho Abhut Vidyani Punyahi Srimad Shankara Bhagavat Charanehi.
I just chant that one.
Okay.
1 second. I can't see that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I kind of entered it for myself, so that's why. Yeah.
No problem. द्वादश मञ्जरीकाभिरेषः कथितो वैयाकरणशिष्यः उपदेशो भूद्विद्यानिपुणैः श्रीमच्छङ्करभगवच्चरणैः.
Okay. So Dwadasha means 12. Is that what
Yeah.
is that? Okay. Anyway, they may explain here in the thing.
They were given by the Acharya himself. You can probably just go through the last paragraph. They together go under the Dvadasha Manjarika Stotram.
Okay. Manjarika Stotram. Okay. So I read a popular story describes the circumstances in which this great poem broke out from the inspiring heart of the teacher. It is said that once in Benares, Ashankara was going along with the 14 of his followers. He overheard an old Pandit repeating to himself grammar rules. And at this futile effort put forth for a mere intellectual accomplishment, and thus wasting his time in life, without realizing the spiritual unfoldment in himself. The Acharya is said to have burst forth into these stanzas, famous as Mohamudgara, now popularly known as Bhajagovindam. Grammar rules will never help anyone at the time of death. While living, strive to realize the deathless state of purity and perfection. Taking the opening stanza as a refrain or chorus to be chanted for emphasis at the end of each of the following verses. Tradition has it that the immediately following 12 stanzas were given out by the Acharya himself. They together go under the name Dvadasa Manchakarika Sotram. Mancharika Sotram. Dvadasa Mancharika. Dvadasa Mancharika
Dvadash.
Stotram.
Dvadasha is 12. Yeah.
12, right. Mancharika Stotram. So taking I'll go back reading from this stanza again. Taking the opening stanza as a refrain or chorus to be chanted for emphasis at the end of each of the following verses. Tradition has it that the immediately following 12 stanzas were given out by the Acharya himself. They together go under the name Dvadasha Mancharika Stotram. Very contagious must have been the teacher's inspired mood and the exploding poem. That each of his followers at that time in his company contributed a stanza of his own, and they together stand today under the title Chadurdasha Mancharika Stotram. Sorry. After listening to all the verses, Shankara blesses all true seekers of all times in the last 4 stanzas. So anytime you want me to stop, I'll stop. Okay. So far we read about the introduction about Adi Shankara, Bhagavan Adi Shankara, and how he was so versatile, and without him this Advaita wouldn't be there, and all the Bhashya for commentary written on all this important uh, Shruti, not Vedas, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, so Brahma Sutra and all that. So that is helpful for us to understand and pursue our uh, path of spiritual knowledge. So it's really nicely written, this whole introduction with a lot of adjectives. It's so beautiful. Does anyone want to add anything? Go ahead. So he sang this verse about Bhajagovindam. They talked about the story, how this Bhajagovindam was written. It's called Dvadasa Mancharika Totram. And then with this disciples also wrote some more of after listening to him, they were being encouraged, and they wrote also more. I don't know how many together in this one. It said 14, right?
40, 44, 42 to 44 verses, I think.
But Shankara himself wrote 14
12.
of this. 12. But then they together stand today under the title Chadurdasha Mancharika Stotram.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Anyway.
what inspired this is that when Varanasi, when they were walking by and they found an old man and reciting grammar rules, that is what inspired Shankara. So why is he wasting his whole life learning grammar. Grammar is not going to help liberate him.
Mm-hmm.
And Manana, if you remember, was very young at that point. I don't think it's mentioned what age he was when he did this, but
Mm.
that
Yeah,
inspired him.
walking by the
Time is
Ganaris.
ebbing away, life is ebbing away from him, and he's still hooked on to reading and learning something worldly. It is not
Mm.
going to help in
Grammar.
any. That's when
Mm.
this. That is why it is also called moha mudkara.
Oh, okay.
Moha is delusion. You're
Mm.
deluded by the fact that that old man was deluded by the fact that he wanted to learn grammar at that point. So he was under the delusion that that is what he wanted to achieve.
Mm.
So moha mudkara. Yeah.
Right.
It's very simple Sanskrit. This whole Bhajagovindam, like it was
Yeah.
mentioned, even a child can repeat it. It's
Read it. Yeah.
to understand. Yeah. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
Okay. This set of 31 stanzas, together titled Mohammadkara, has been very popular in our country for a long period of time. Whenever a chant becomes too popular in a country, it is but natural that it gets published again and again by various institutions, and slowly different types of readings get to be equally popular. Some of the alternative readings we have noted here and there in our commentaries. In some editions of this poem, Mohamudgara, we have uh, less number of stanzas. Okay, in some editions of this poem Mohamudgara, we have less number of stanzas. In some, the sequence of stanzas is different. In some, the second half of one stanza is read with the first half of another stanza. Mhm. So again, in some of the sequence of stanzas is different. In some, the second half of one stanza is read with the first half of another stanza. Sometimes lines are interchanged, and sometimes the words are slightly changed. And yet, in none of them, nowhere is the essential spirit of the verses found to have been noticeably tampered with. So, the first 1 to 12 verses of this poem, as it now stands, is together called Dvadasa, Dvadasa Manjarika Stotram, a bouquet of 12 stanza flowers. Oh, Mancharika means a flower. Okay, Mancharika Stotram. A bouquet of fresh blooms is beautiful and rewarding even to look at from a distance. Similarly, even to hear these stanzas chanted is thrilling enough, and for the industrious bees that are capable of courting the flowers and entering deeper into them, there is always the sweeter honey as a special and extra reward. So, too, the students who are capable of entering beneath the superficial joys of the metrical rhythm, metrical rhythm, and thus delving deeper into the philosophical implications suggested in these verses. There is a real nectar, a consoling philosophy, a satisfying view of life in the poem Bhajagovindam. Uh, okay. Though it is classified as a devotional song, Totram, the chorus alone can be truly designated as a prayer verse. The rest of the 30 stanzas, with scientific precision, dissect the shell of thoughtlessness that veils the glory in man and forces him to be helplessly stupid in his relationship with the world outside. So, here the last line was the rest of the 30 stanzas with the scientific precision dissect the shell of the thoughtlessness that veils the glory in man and forces him to be helplessly stupid in his relationship with the world outside. The verses on the whole can be considered as a book of categories, prakriya, prakriya, okay, the book of categories, prakriya, in the science of Vedanta. So this is something they nicely explained how these songs are helping as a prayer verse, and also it has scientific precision, and it also helps how our craze for outside worldliness and trying to divert our focus to this knowledge. Unlike the other manuals of Vedanta, Atma Bodha, Viveka Chudamani, again, unlike the other manuals of Vedanta, Atma Bodha, Viveka Chudamani, Panchadashi, and others, Bhajagovindam gives, within the limited canvas of its composition, a more eloquent picture of the art of realization and a deeper diagnosis of the human unhappiness. So, Bhajagovindam gives, again, I'm going to repeat this Bhajagovindam gives, within the limited canvas of its composition, a more eloquent picture of the art of realization and a deeper diagnosis of the human unhappiness. It not only indicates to the students the goal and the path, but also reveals unto him the wretchedness of his present way of life, the horrors of his present values of life, and the dire consequences that await him if he continues to pursue the path of ego and desire. Wow. This simple looking sotram is not addressed to other equally vehement philosophers and erudite disputants. Again, this simple looking stotram is not addressed to other equally vehement philosophers and erudite disputants. So it's for us. Naturally, it contains, therefore, no elaborate logical argumentations to prove Shankara's own philosophical standpoint. So naturally, it contains, therefore, no elaborate logical argumentation to prove Shankara's own philosophical standpoint, nor has the author wasted any labor in breaking other unhealthy and unholy misbeliefs. In short, there are no dialectics in these stanzas. These are addressed to seekers as a book of instruction to help them walk the path straight to their goal. Again, these are addressed to seekers as a book of instruction to help them walk the path straight to their goal. It contains ideas that can refresh the seekers on their path. Again, it contains ideas that can refresh the seekers on their path. The students whom Sankara admonishes with these stanzas are already pilgrims, all of them who perhaps are walking slow under the crushing load of their own fatigue. Walking slow under the crushing load of their own fatigue. This is the textbook of advice, Upadesha, and not a book of disputation, Vada. Okay, again, this is a textbook of advice, Upadesha, not a book of disputation, Vada. In Bhajagovindam, we meet with a teacher who is softly advising his own beloved disciples in the secret chambers of his own sacred retreat. So nicely put. Again, in Bhajagovindam, we meet with the teacher who is softly advising his own beloved disciples in the secret chambers of his own sacred retreat. We had to post our picture of Adi Shankara, would be nice. We are sitting under him. Okay. Can I go on further? I can't wait to get the sloka.
Please go ahead.
Okay. A disciple, Shishya, is a disciple, Shishya, is one who is taught by the teacher, one who has become improved, has become now relatively more introvert, having left the extrovertedness that he had in the past as a result of his study of the contents of the Shastra. I'll come to the asterisk explanation in a minute. One who controls, C is one who controls and curbs the activities of one's own sense organs. So going back here, let me read this again, this paragraph. A disciple is a shishya. Okay, a disciple, shishya, is a one who is taught by the teacher. So teacher is shikshate iti shishyaha. And of course, Dr. Brahmana, you can correct me if you want to. One who has become improved. One is taught by the teacher. Second one is one who has become improved, has become now relatively more introvert, having left the extrovertedness that he had in the past as a result of his study of the contents of the Shastra. So because he was reading Shastra, he was extrovert before, now he became introvert. So Shishyate Vishishyate Shastradi Pariganena Bahirmukhaka Apaksheya iti Sishyaha. That's the second one. And the third one is one who controls and curbs the activities of one's own sense organs. This is the Dhamma, right? One who controls and curbs the activities of the sense organs. That's it. Indriyadi pravrittam sikshyati iti sishyaha. So this previous paragraph was saying, in Bhajagovindam, we meet with a teacher who is softly advising his own beloved disciples in the secret chambers of his own sacred retreat. So we are getting these points from our Guru. These 3 points. How the disciple is being taught by a teacher, and then who, after reading the Shastra, how the disciple become introvert and leaving the extrovertedness that he had in the past, and then curbs the activities and the desires of our own sense organs. That's the third thing that the Guru teaches softly in that sacred retreat. Very nice. So anybody wants repeat this, I can do that. Therefore, a true disciple is one who is being taught by the teacher. This is the therefore, a true disciple is one who is being taught by the teacher, and who, as a result of the understanding so gathered, has now become more and more introvert than what he was before, and is one who has started independently to curb and control all sense appetites and the vagaries of his emotions and thoughts. Oh my God. So, not only sense organs thing, he is also controlling his emotions and thoughts. So, the mind control also is happening. Such disciples were the audience to whom Bhajagovindam was addressed. You know how nicely this Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya describes his own followers, Mumukshu seekers, what qualification they had to have. Such disciples were the audience to whom Bhajagovindam was addressed. So, if these stanzas are not silencing the arguments of the opponents of the Advaita, they are not in any sense of the term a mild, soft musical chant that gurgles through a heart of soft emotions and generates a feeling of divine sentiments temporarily in a man of heart. There is no such softness about this. These 30 stanzas have a crack whip style and effect about them. Again, these 30 stanzas have a crack whip style and effect about them. There is no softness, no delicate consideration in the approach to correct the erring man. He whips up, it slashes with the cruel cat's tail on the back of a man. Oh my God. It whips up, it slashes with a cruel cat's tail on the back of a man because of the urgency. When the house is on the fire, when the house is on fire, no formalities need be respected in waking up your respected parents, wife, or children. Oh my God. The urgency of the moment of the urgency of the moment demands that they must be awakened immediately. Thus, here in Mohammadkara are a few criminally sweet slashes with a kindly cruel whip of horrible impatience, coming with a hateful love for the welfare of the beloved disciples, still sleeping in samsara sorrows, when the house of life in ablaze with the death. Can you believe this? My God, he really whips it up. Okay, let me read the last paragraph one more time. If anybody wants anything else, let me know, please. And I'm trying to adjust the small letters for me to. Okay. If these stanzas are not silencing the arguments of the opponents of Advaita, they are not in any sense of the term a mild, soft musical chant that gurgles through a heart of soft emotions and generates a feeling of divine sentiments temporarily in a man of heart. There is no such softness about this. These 30 stanzas have a crack whip style and effect about them. There is no softness, no delicate consideration in the approach to correct the erring man. It whips up, it slashes with a cruel cat's tail on the back of man because of the urgency. Because of the urgency. When the house is on fire, no formalities need be respected in waking up your respected parents, a wife, or children. The urgency of the moment demands that they must be awakened immediately. Thus, here in Mohamudgara are a few criminally sweet slashes with the kindly cruel whip of horrible impatience, coming with a hateful love for the welfare of the beloved disciples, still sleeping in samsara sorrows, when the house of life is ablaze with death. How nicely put. So, now we are going on to Mohammadkara. Shall I start this poem?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Samprapte nihite kale. Samprapte nihite kale. Nahi nahi rakshate dukkam karane. Nahi nahi rakshati dukkam karane. Bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam. Govindam bhaja mudamate.
That was so beautiful, Dr. Mara.
Oh, thank you. I only
Very
learned
beautiful.
these slokas. I wish I would learn. I will probably
Yeah. It's
practice
simple,
them.
so maybe you can go through the word meaning also. Bhaja,
Yeah.
the
I will
Sanskrit
try.
part. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure. Bhaja, seek, Govindam, Govind, uh, Samprapte is, no, wait. Bhaja again, seek. Yeah, Bhaja again, seek, Govindam, Govind, and Bhaja, seek, and then Mudamate is woeful. And then when is the, when, so this is no, not Kale. What is this when? Samprapte? Wait, Samprapte is appointed. No. I'm getting mixed up with these words now. Wait. Samprapte is the when, and then Sannihite is appointed. Kale is time of death. And Nahi, surely never. Nahi, surely never. Rakshate saves. Dukring Karne is the grammar rule to do. Okay, I'll read the text. Seek Govind, seek Govind, seek Govind. O fool, when the appointed time comes, that is death, grammar rule surely will not save you. Okay, that's a Tatparya. So nice, right? Even the first sloka, he opened it up. He showed this one really nice. This opening stanza is considered as a chorus. This opening stanza is considered as a chorus and is generally repeated at the end of the following verses. Okay, is generally repeated at the end of the following verses. Bhajagovindam is a chant that is generally sung in congregations. The leader sings each verse, and the entire audience takes up the refrain Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. In this refrain verse, the disciple is asked to pack his heart with thoughts of God. Okay, so here, when you chant Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, in this refrain verse, the disciple is asked to pack his heart with thoughts of God rather than with his anxieties to acquire, hold, or possess secular accomplishments or even achievements. So, nothing, you don't worry about any of those things. You only think about Govinda. The grammar rule that has been indicated here stands for all secular knowledge and possessions. Again, the grammar rule that has been indicated here stands for all secular knowledge and possessions. The grammatical formula mentioned herein, Dukrinkya Karane. Dukrinkya Karane. Okay. Dukrinkya Karane is from Daudapat of Panini Grammar Treatise. Okay. So that's, I don't know, it's a Sanskrit grammar probably. The import of this condemnation that all grammar and such other secular sciences cannot save the soul. Again, the import of this condemnation that all grammar and such other secular sciences cannot save the soul. When death reaches to snatch the individual away from this limited ambit of temporary existence here in the world, reminds us of a similar situation in the Chandogya Upanishad, where Narada approaches Sanat Kumara, humbly begging for initiation into the great knowledge. The teacher rightly asks, "Tell me all that you already know, so that I may instruct you in what you do not know." Narada thereupon gives an endless and brilliant list of sciences that he had already mastered, from astrology and astronomy to literature and art, music and dance, all the varied sciences, etc., at which Sanat Kumara says, "These are all mere names. The infinite, Bhumaha, is to be realized." This is Bhumaha? Okay, not Bhumaha. The infinite, Bhumaha, is to be realized. It exceeds all these. It is interesting to note that in the list of Narada's accomplishments, grammar was also especially mentioned. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll read this one paragraph, really interesting. The import of this condemnation, that knowing the grammar rule is not going to save you, that part is kind of explained here. The import of this condemnation, that all grammar and as such uh, other secular sciences cannot save the soul when death reaches to snatch the individual away from this limited ambit of temporary existence here in the world, reminds us of similar situations in the Chandogya Upanishad. So this is the example from Chandogya Upanishad, the story about Narada asking Sanat Kumara. So where Narada approaches Sanat Kumara, humbly begging for initiation into the great knowledge. The teacher rightly asks, "Tell me all that you already know, so that I may instruct you in what you do not know." Narada thereupon gives an endless and brilliant list of sciences that he had already mastered, from astrology and astronomy to the literature and art, music and dance, all the varied sciences, etc. At which Sanat Kumara says, these are all merely names. The infinite, Bhumaha, is to be realized. So what is to be realized is the Brahman. So all the other things are just names. It exceeds all this. Then realizing the Brahman is realizing that is exceed all this learning grammar and etc. So it is interesting note that in the list of Narada's accomplishments, grammar was also especially mentioned. Knowledge of grammar is no doubt necessary. It is a means to an end. To understand rightly the Shastra declarations and even to appreciate fully the advices of the teacher, grammar is useful. So again, knowledge of grammar is no doubt necessary. It is a means to an end. To understand rightly the Shastra declarations and even to appreciate fully the advices of the teacher, grammar is useful. But to waste our precious lifetime in the pursuit of all these non-essentials and never taking up seriously the study of the greatest of sciences, which alone can save man from the thraldom of imperfections, is being condemned here by Acharya Shankara. Sorry. For when death comes to erase you out of existence in this manifested world, again, for when death comes to erase you out of existence in this manifested world, of what use your science to you? Of what charm is the art that you have mastered? Of what charm is the art that you have mastered? Of what help is the knowledge of grammar then? While living here, man's greatest endeavor is to understand and master the secret of life. While living here, man's greatest endeavor is to understand and master the secret of life, the reality behind them, and to gain his perfect identification with it. He must be able to meet death not as a moment of utter annihilation, but as a springboard to rocket himself into an external existence, peaceful and divine. What a nicely, explained here. So, anyone wants repetition in this?
No, it is very clear.
It's very nice, right?
Slap
Yeah.
from this side and slap from that side.
Right.
Very good. Needed.
Yeah, this every question mark they raised, right? Like what is your science going to do to you? Like, let me read this one more time. So it really
Yes.
ingrains into our mind. For
Yes.
when death comes to erase you out of existence in this manifested world, of what use is your science to you? Of what charm is the art that you have mastered? Of what help is the knowledge of grammar then? While living here, man's greatest endeavor is to understand and master the secret of life, the reality behind them. So you the greatest endeavor that we have to put all our effort into understand and master the secret of life, reality behind them, and to gain his perfect identification with it. He must be able to meet death not as a moment of utter annihilation, but as a springboard to rocket himself into an eternal existence, peaceful and divine. Is so nicely put, right? Is that you're sitting on the seesaws, that that board, you kind of you press on one side, the next side, like joke, you go to the heaven or something. Not heaven, like eternal existence, what they call. There is a set of optimistic men of mere book knowledge. There is a set of optimistic men of mere book knowledge who quote the Gita and say that at the time of parting, they shall remember the Lord and thus achieve all that is to be achieved. In the Gita, it is said that one who leaves the moral coil remembering me, he is saved. Book knowledge cannot save us from the unrelenting law. The law is the Lord. Even in the Gita, it is said, Anta Kalecha, the importance of the conjunction cha is not generally well realized. Shankara, in his commentary, explains that this conjunction cha stands for all the life through and at the time of parting. So, anta kalecha meaning not at the end of life, it or that life at the time of death. Its cha stands for all the life through and at the time of parting. So that is what the cha stands for. The term bhaja means worship. It is not merely ritualistic routine and monotonous flower throwing or a mechanical chanting of some selected mantras or hymns. Again, this is for us. The term bhaja means worship. It is not merely ritualistic routine and monotonous flower throwing or a mechanical chanting of some selected mantras or hymns. Seeking our identity with the Lord is a true bhajan. Seeking our identity with the Lord is a true bhajan, true seva. service, be it in your private chapel or in a public temple. The services conducted therein, no doubt, have been regularized in all religions with certain codes of instruction. Okay, so I should read this asterisk that is said as per Gita, like that is in the previous paragraph. As per Gita, one who leaves the mortal coil remembering me, he is saved. Book knowledge cannot save us, right? So that is the Antakalecha Mameva Smara Muktva Kalebram. See Swamiji's the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, 5th sloka.
Yeah. Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram.
Okay. And then the Purvamapi Antakalecha. Oh, that's a continuation of the...
Antakalecha.
Oh,
So
okay.
it is
This
not
is
just Antakale, but it is
right.
Purvamapi, which means even throughout you need to be. In order for us to remember him in the end, unless we're doing it on a daily basis, we will not remember him in the end, right? So that is
right. So Purvamapi
Antakale.
Okay. Purvamapi Antakalecha. So this is the chapter 8 and 5th sloka. So that, okay, the next, the term bhaja, that's what I was reading. Okay. Seeking our identity with the Lord is a true bhajan, true seva service, be it in your private chapel or in a public temple. The services conducted therein, no doubt, have been regularized in all religions with certain codes of instructions. This is only to bring uniformity throughout the country. Okay, it only bring uniformity throughout the country. To go through, okay, sorry, with codes of instruction, this is the only to bring a uniformity throughout the country. To go through those movements is at best only a religious drill. True bhajan is a total subjective surrender. Again, a true bhajan is a total subjective surrender in love and devotion at the altar of the Lord as conceived by the devotee. Wow. At the altar of the Lord as conceived by the devotee. It's so nicely written text, man. This is so beautiful. This process of self-liquidation at the feet of the Lord has been classified under 9 tabs. Okay, so this process of self-liquidation, so the self-liquidation at the feet of the Lord has been classified under 9 types according to the means adopted. One is listening to the glory of the Lord, Shravanam. So we read this so many times. Listening to the glory of the Lord, Shravanam. Singing the glory of the beloved of your heart, Kirtanam. Okay, singing the glory of the beloved of your heart is Kirtanam. Constantly thinking about his nature and beauty is a Smaranam. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, third one is the Smaranam. The constantly thinking about it is a Smaranam. Adoring the feet of the Lord in a spirit of self-obliteration. Oh, this is the Pada Sevanam. Oh, that's very nice. Pada Sevanam. So adoring the feet of the Lord in a spirit of self-obliteration. Adoring the feet of the Lord in a spirit of self-obliteration. So what is obliteration? Meaning you kind of, I don't know why they...
Dissolve. Dissolve in that
dissolve.
Yeah.
Okay. In a spirit of self-obliteration is a Pada Sevana. With the help of selected mantras and sacred Vedic hymns, employing the necessary things prescribed for worshipping the Lord, Archanam. Oh, this is Archana. Okay, with the help of selected mantras and sacred Vedic hymns, so employing the necessary things prescribed for worshipping the Lord, is Archanam. To pay obeisance to the Lord is Vandanam, and serving the Lord is Dasyam. To invoke the Lord affectionately and to discuss with him as a friend is Sakyam. And lastly, to offer oneself in a total self surrender to the Lord. Again, to offer oneself in total self surrender to the Lord as a humble gift at his altar. Atma Nivedanam. Wow. So many things. So we have to do. This is self
I think
liquidation.
this is better. It is good to repeat this one more time. These are all the different flavors of bhakti.
Bhakti,
this Navavida
the
bhakti.
way the author is bringing all these things so nicely, isn't it? So methodical. Oh my God! And this all this, not only these words and the text, like how they put it, like Shravanam. We only know Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. Now it's nicely. Let me repeat this paragraph. This process of self-liquidation at the feet of the Lord has been classified under 9 types. So 9 types. According to the means adopted, okay, not adapted, adopted, listening to the glory of the Lord, Shravanam, singing the glory of the beloved of your heart, Kirtanam, constantly thinking about his nature and beauty, Smaranam, adoring the feet of the Lord in a spirit of self-obliteration, is a Pada Sevanam. I heard there is a this Padaka, there is a big like sloka also for Vishnu. They have this one. Uh, anyway, adoring the feet of the Lord in a spirit of self-obliteration is called Pada Sevanam. With the help of selected mantras and sacred Vedic hymns, employing the necessary things prescribed for worshipping the Lord. So that chanting, the saying the mantras and Vedic hymns, that is the for worshipping, prescribed for worshipping the Lord. Archanam. To pay obeisance to the Lord is Vandanam. Obeisance. Obeisance. Okay. And serving the Lord, Dashyam, and to invoke the Lord affectionately and to discuss with him as a friend, Sakyam, and lastly, to offer oneself in total self surrender to the Lord as a humble gift at his altar, Atma Nivedanam. So, Brahma, I have a question, Dr. Brahma. So,
Yes.
when Nana was discussing all this, I'm sure he would have explained each of these words, or I want to know whether it's in the tape or just.
I can't remember. That was quite a long time ago.
I
But
know.
yeah, we will need to
Okay.
revisit that. Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'll look into it then. Okay, that's fine. So now even this word,
The thing
even though
about
it is,
treating him like a friend is Sakyam.
yeah, like a friend. I mean, we do all these things, but I'm thinking in he might have given some examples and things like that.
Yeah.
I get it, but I think I had a little this Dashyam, obeisance. I'm not sure Vandanam, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll look into that. In all of them, there is a spirit of worship. In all of them, there is a spirit of worship, bhaja, employed. Bhaja means see, right? In all of them, there is a spirit of worship, bhaja, employed. In essence, in all worships, bhajanam is service, seva. Ishvara, Ishvara seva. Okay, Ishvara seva is Ishvara bhajanam. No doubt, Jana seva is certainly Janardana seva. So this is also nicely given here. In all of them, there is a spirit of worship, bhaja employed. In essence, in all worships, bhajanam is service, seva. Ishvara Seva is Ishvara Bhajanam. No doubt Jana Seva is certainly Janardana Seva. The term Govind to indicate Vishnu appears twice in the Vishnu Sahasranama. Yeah, it appears twice in Vishnu Sahasranama. So in the 33rd and the 71st stanza, that asterisk indicates. Shankara, in his commentary, explains this term etymologically to mean in 4 different ways the same highest reality, the supreme Brahman. He dissolves the word Govind in following 4 ways. He who finds or knows the earth, meaning one who has realized the substratum upon which the world play is going on. Okay, so meaning one who has realized the substratum upon which the world play is going on. The second one is that second Vishnu is the he who is world of the cattle. Lord of the cattle. So he who is the Lord of the cattle, not only as the divine cowherd boy of Gokul, but as the very life-giving factor behind all animal passions and the very essence behind the living kingdom. So that is about second, the Nama Govind indicates. And he who confers speech, the very power because of which all living creatures, through the medium of speech, convey knowledge mutually to each other, be it in the braying of an ass, the barking of a dog, or a thunderous eloquence of a speaker. And fourth one is he who is known through the Veda text, the very supreme reality indicated by the great statements, Mahavakyas. So, he who confers speech, the third one, there's the explanation here. Yad Vachana, sorry, Vachana Biyuditam. Okay, Yuditam. Vachana Biyuditam. Okay. Yat Vachana Biyuditam. Yena Vag Vaga Vagabhyutyate. Vagabhyutyate. Yat Vachana Biyutyam. Yena Vagabhyutyate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Netam Yaditam Mupasate. Yadidam Upasate. That's from the Swamiji discourses on Khyana Upanishad. So it comes from this 4, from Vishnu Sahasranama, how that Govind is indicated 4 different explanation given, 4 different ways he brings it. Okay. Should I read this one? Okay, one more paragraph, then I'll repeat it. In short, Govind stands for the essence, the Atman, which is the truth behind the ever-changing flux of things that constitute the universe of our experiences. Govind is the Brahman of the Upanishads. He is the highest reality, the great God. Therefore, Bhajagovindam means seek your identity with God, with Govind, the Supreme. Again, Bhajagovindam means seek your identity with Govind, the Supreme, and do not waste your time in mere grammar hunting and in such other really unprofitable pursuits of secular knowledge, of worldly possessions, of ephemeral fame, and of passing joys. So, you know what time it is? Do we have time for Manana? Yeah, 8:15. If I would read this paragraph one more time, or you guys are wanting to do Manana? Let me read this one more time, this last paragraph. The term Govind to indicate Vishnu appears twice in the Vishnu Sahasranama. Shankara, in his commentary, explains this term etymologically to mean in 4 different ways the same highest reality, the Supreme Brahman. He dissolves the word Govind in the following 4 ways. He who finds or knows earth, the earth, meaning one who has realized the substratum upon which the world play is going on. Second one is he who is the Lord of the cattle, not only as the divine cowherd boy of Gokul, but as the very life-giving factor behind all animal passion. Sorry, all animal passion, and the very essence behind the living kingdom. He who confers speech, the very power because of which all living creatures, through the medium of speech, convey knowledge mutually to each other, be it in the braying of an ass and the barking of a dog or the thunderous eloquence of a speaker. And he who is known through the Veda texts, the very supreme reality indicated by the great statements, Mahavakyas. In short, Govind stands for the essence, the Atman, which is the truth behind the ever-changing flux of things that constitute the universe of our experiences. Govind is the Brahman of the Upanishads. He is the highest reality, the great God. Therefore, Bhajagovindam means seek your identity with the Govind, the Supreme, and do not waste your time in mere grammar hunting and such other really unprofitable pursuits of secular knowledge, of worldly possessions, of ephemeral fame, and of passing joys. See, he kind of said everything: joy, fame, worldly possession, knowledge, grammar hunting, finally. Okay, I think, this is time for Manana, I think. Or maybe we'll do the second one tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do stop for Manana now.
Yeah. So nice, Dr. Brahmra. This is so beautiful. I don't know, this author also Chinmayananda Mission, it says, but this is written by
Swami
Chinmayananda.
Chinmayananda only.
Oh, wow. No wonder, he was so eloquent. I know we are all fortunate to read all these things.
Can we play today this Bhajagovindam at the end of the program? End of the session?
I didn't download it, but maybe I don't know how to play it. This itself, I tried it. Dr. Brahmara, you may see some vague things. I actually turned on the this Zoom and tried to see how to put this share the screen, because yesterday we had a hard time getting that thing half the time. Finally, we got it almost close to the end of the meeting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So you may see some of them like little blank ones, because I tried it like 10-15 minutes before our meeting. I try to see I can get that today on time. So anyway.
And I'm sorry, Dr. Mara, I saw the message late. I had 2 delivery patients last night, so I slept around 3 o'clock.
No
So,
problem. I just didn't know is it okay to open it, because it said whenever you turn it open in the Zoom, it says it recording. So
Yeah, I was thinking that we'll start on time, but
No, don't worry about it. I got it.
yeah, thank you.
So, go ahead, guys. Whatever you think, go ahead. I think.
Yeah, I think bhaja is not just singing or worshipping, just mechanically offering flowers or just doing some puja. That is not the meaning of bhaja. Bhaja is like the Navavida Bhakti that was very beautifully uh, described. Either it is Shravanam, listening to the glories of the Lord, or remembering the glories, Smaranam. Pada Sevanam is like dissolving at the feet of the Lord, where you just, your identity merges with Him. And then Archanam is using some particular chants and then worshipping Him with that. And Sakhyam is treating Him as a friend. Dasyam is where you serve Him as a master. You're in the space of service. And then you have Atma Nivedanam, where you just offer yourself as a humble gift. And then I think there are some more that are missing. Smaranam. Kirtanam is singing His glory. And Vandanam is paying obeisance or respects to the Lord. So all this forms bhaja. And bhaja is actually, I think there are 2 or 3 phrases that Swami Chinmayananda has used for bhaja, right? Bhaja is where you ultimately find your identity with the Lord. That is bhaja.
He also said worship, I think, or seeking, right? But initially, Bhaja Govind is seek Govind, right? He said that in the regular meaning of the Sanskrit word. When we read the Tatparya, it's seek, it said. Seek. In the word here itself, is Bhaja means worship, and then service, Bhajanam. That's what I see here somewhere.
And if you can actually go through the Bhaja Govind, in fact, the whole thing is there in these 2 words itself. So Govind, if you can go through the 4 different meanings of Govind.
Vishnu Sahasranama, where he says about for Govind, how it came in 33rd and 71, that stanza, and what it meant. I can read that. That's in the last paragraph. You already mentioned the 9 things, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, and then Vandanam, Dashyam, and Sakyam, and Atmanivedanam. Yeah, it will come. We can post it tomorrow, like Bhagavan meaning like that. It's for the, what is the process of self-liquidation at the feet of the Lord is by these nine types. That is that. And then this 4, okay, he dissolves the word Govind in the following 4 ways. He who finds or knows earth. He who finds or knows the earth, meaning who has realized the substratum upon which the world play is going on. He who is the lord of the cattle. Second one is, who is the lord of the cattle. So, Dr. Savitaji, you want to read this, the last paragraph?
Last paragraph.
Yeah, like where I put the term Govind.
Okay, in short, okay. In short, Govind stands for the essence, the Atman, which is the truth behind the ever-changing flux of things that constitute the universe of our experiences. Govind is the Brahman of the Upanishad. He is the highest reality, the great God. Therefore, Bhajagovindam means seek your identity with Govind, the Supreme, and do not waste your time in mere grammar hunting and in such other really unprofitable pursuits of secular knowledge, of worldly possessions, of ephemeral fame, and of passing joys.
No, she wanted to read this names. Okay, 1 second.
The term Govind you said?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one.
That.
Okay. Okay. In the term Govind to indicate Vishnu appears twice in the Vishnu Sahasranama. This is very small, Number 1 is used in both 33rd and the 71st stanzas. Shankara in his commentary explains etymologically this term to mean in 4 different ways. The same highest reality, the supreme Brahman. He dissolves the word Govind in the following 4 ways. First, he who finds or knows the earth, meaning one who has realized the substratum upon which the world play is going on. Number 2, he who is the lord of the cattle, not only as the divine cowherd boy of Gokul, but as the very life-giving factor behind all animal passions and the very essence behind the living kingdom. Third, he who confers speech. Number 2 is given. Yena, this is the text, no? It's very small. Yena vachana bhuyaitam yena vakshya yena vakshya yudha yate, sorry. Yena vachana bhuyaitam yena vakshyudhe yate. Vakshyudhe yate tadeva brahmatattvam vidhi. It is so small, no?
Vidhi etam yati mupasate.
Yeah, Naidam Vedidam Upasate. Yeah, it refers to Swamiji's discourse on Kenopanishad.
Kenopanishad, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to enlarge it. Okay. So you read the who confers speech, the very power because of which all living creatures, through the medium of speech,
he who confers speech, the very power because of which all living creatures, through the medium of speech, convey knowledge mutually to each other, be it in the braying of an ass, or in the barking of a dog, or in the thunderous eloquence of a speaker. And fourth is he who is known through the Veda texts, the very supreme reality indicated by the great statements, Mahavakyas. Yeah. And this number 2 is again, no, this Yadvachan Bhuyaditam Bhyuditam. Yadvachan Chanabhyuditam Yena Vagam Bhyuthat Tate tadev brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadi damupasate. This is from the Kenopanishad.
Yeah.
Shloka, yeah.
So that's the Mahavakya. I don't know. That's not the Mahavakya. So he
No, no,
confers
that's
the speech is the one what you read. So he confers the speech for the all living creatures. He gave the very power because of um, all living creatures. They can speak the medium
convey.
of speech,
Yeah.
convey the knowledge mutually to each other. So, like we are talking to each other because of this speech, we are conveying the knowledge to each other. So, that speech conferred by that is also one meaning for the Govind. So, finally, in short, he says Govind said for the essence, the Atman, the truth behind ever changing flux of things, and constitute the universe of our experiences. So,
This
so he,
is Govind in itself is like a Mahavakya, no? It is covering all the factors which are necessary to attain that supreme bliss.
yeah. The bottom line is don't waste time wasting time watching TV or looking at your WhatsApp and
Worldly possessions. Yeah,
yeah,
they are passing
collecting
joys.
more stuff to in your house. Don't worry about all those things. Enjoying on travel. I mean, things like that you can do, but about a necessity. Wield fame, yeah, go behind, not worry about somebody didn't honor you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So nice. So the takeaway is don't waste your time in unnecessary things and think about God all the time. Even that Gita sloka from 8th chapter 5th sloka. Don't you remember? I remember this particular verse meaning of that we even talk. Oh, at the time of death we have to say Narayana Govinda or whatever, right? So
Antakale cha mameva.
yeah, that's not going to happen. It's you have to be doing that purva kala like throughout life. That
That is
even the
where
one word like cha means that much. It's not only that, and you have to remember at the end as well as throughout the life.
yeah,
Yeah.
avyabhicharini bhakti has to be there. And that vyavasayatmika buddhi, shama, chitta ekagrata, all that we've learned in Tattva Bodh and so far in Gita, all that comes to a
Yeah.
point here. Yeah.
What
So
is
shall we
beautiful
continue
about
tomorrow?
Yeah, I will do this one tomorrow. Yeah, no problem.
Then can we have Bhajagovindam after that, please?
We'll just chant Bhajagovindam. Today, I think it is already,
Okay.
maybe, I don't know whether there's an audio to this. There are 31
I
verses. Maybe the first verse we can play, and after we finish the
Yeah,
Shanti.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Does it come like that? This one?
There
No,
is
this
an
is.
audio here. You can see this.
Subha Lakshmiji's audio is there.
Maybe we
MS
can check
Subha.
from tomorrow. We'll do that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was audio. It's this is for the whole. Oh, it loading the audio, but it may take forever, man.
Don't worry. I think we'll check that out on the net,
Yeah.
and we can do that.
Okay. I'll turn it off. I wouldn't. I think Dr. Brahmara. I'll try and see we can download the Bhajagovindam. MS Sublakshmi has done nicely. I don't know. You have any
Yeah,
other
you can
option?
do that. You can. We can.
Yeah, I'll try to see I
then
can.
it becomes easy. That whole day it lingers in the mind,
We
it
can
is-
we can share about 2 or 3 stanzas, or the stanzas that we've covered. That
Yes,
should be
yes.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to do the Shanti part, Dr. Mara, and then we'll close. Thank you.
Sure. I know, Doctor. One other. Let me see. So your Shanti Pada is different, and everybody sings one different ones. Okay. Anyway, I see what Nana sings. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve shantu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Thank you. Thank you all. Nice.
Thank you, Jai Guru.